Again, the thing I just don't appreciate about these shows is that
Uh-huh.
nobody just has a jet or a Valkyrie that's just better. It's always everyone's competing against their skills, right? You know, if you've got a better turn radius, better speed adjustments, etc., you're just going to be better. Skill doesn't get you a win. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with episode 13 of Macross Delta. A little bit of forewarning, it has been over a week since the last time we watched an episode, so we seem to be a little bit rusty on the details of things that we ought to know, or according to whatever watch schedule you're watching, where it seems like we're 1 week from the last thing that we watched, and we were on it last time, assuming that we were on it last time, that's the situation going on here. That said, though, we do come into this with a board, and with the board comes the board changelog, which is to say that I added Lori Valan. Of course, that is my interpretation of what their name is. It could also just be Lori Valen. But I'm going with Valan, because Valan sounds more fun. Not a fun character, mind you, but...
in his name, yes.
Valan. Well, it's V-A-L-A-N.
Yeah.
Could be Valen.
Valen, yeah.
You know, like in Valen's name.
Yeah, we live for the one, we die for the one.
Well, you do, anyway. Well, you're not a ranger. I don't care what I'm saying. Anyway, we have notes. You have more, which means as per our outstanding rules, you go first.
Okay, let's start with episode 11.
Well, typically, you know. Let's start from the end of episode 12. Why not? Let's throw rules to the window. Whatever you throw rules to.
Yeah.
Shake a stick at it.
Wrong. Yeah. Episode 11, Jellyfish Remembrance. As expected, we skip Delta workers' exit and fast forward to them being back in their home base. Literally, we said that, oh yeah, this episode we're not going to see how they get away. We're just going to cut back to, them already back in their home base, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay. Sorry, it's just we said that thing, and then it happened, and then your note is that thing that we said happened.
Yes.
Okay. Clearly, I can have no comment to this. There's nothing to add. We were right the first time. We continue to be right. Surprising that there was enough of a Messer to bring back. If not for anything else, his Valkyrie was moving at high speed at high altitude, then went into an uncontrolled crash. I guess they've displayed the ability to activate autopilot and other automated controls at range before, back when they were doing Hayate's training. Could remotely guide the jet back to ground and recover Messer's body, rather than recovering it from the scene of the crash.
Or mostly, it was a close casket funeral, so there might not be much there to begin with.
No, because we see the Valkyrie, so the Valkyrie didn't crash. That's how they expressed that he got shot through the heart. So again, I'm just indicating that probably since it was such a controlled shot, it didn't damage any of the control systems, and they were just able to autopilot it back from remote control.
Follow up on Frontier, and by extension Plus, now we have brain hackers as well. To talk about them being when they're in the not in the tank because they're not floating, but Frey is being analyzed in the tube. It's like, oh, you encountered brain hackers. Like, yeah, we could have, but I think it was more of a reaction to the collision between their singing and the prince singing. So rather than anybody directly trying to hack their minds, but the fact that she calls like, oh, brain hackers, there must be something in the universe, right?
No, we can make up words for things that aren't real.
Yeah, but we had examples of in Plus we had the hypnosis of Sharon Apple.
Hypnosis is not brain hacking.
But we have had manipulation.
I don't think that's an example of it. I know you're reaching for an example. I'm just saying that hypnosis isn't brain hacking; it's hypnosis. It's a suggestion.
And brain hacking with implants in Frontier, which was the whole thing. We're gonna put cybernetic implants in the brain, and then we're gonna use those to hijack their brain. So that was the plan in the original series.
Well, no, I mean, you don't have to go with the plan. It was already implemented on one person.
One chip.
Not one person.
Only one person.
The brother had it actively being done.
Yeah, but the reason why they were able to take control of the entire Frontier was because everybody had their implants. That was the whole thing. That it was illegal to have those kind of implants in the Frontier, but in the Galaxy they had them, and that's how Grace took over them.
Depending on which version you're talking about, because if you recall the movie, Grace is the one who's been taken over.
I'm talking about the version of...
And I'm indicating that you don't see the Galaxy. The Galaxy is just a ship you see the outside of. You don't need to pull esoteric things that you only have to imagine. There's literally a guy on screen. We see it actively being done to. You don't need to make a more complicated example. That guy is your example. Also, you have emotional ties to him, so you feel what he's going through. And, not for nothing, he's kind of the same in both versions. But I would also argue that it's not the same thing. I would also argue that the Prince's thing is more manipulation than hacking.
And one could argue that the VAR syndrome is a form of brain hacking / body hacking.
No, that's what I'm saying, that the VAR syndrome is essentially what gives the Prince access, and I'm saying that's influence. I have already likened it in... sorry, my nose is just fucking feeling crazy all of a sudden. I've already likened the VAR syndrome / Prince singing thing before to U.S. military research done on remote mind-altering transmission, essentially hitting you at range with a microwave radiation that can either agitate or pacify. It's a non-violent, what do you call it? When you have a crowd that is rioting or whatever, to pacify a whole crowd of people.
Yeah, but it's more than that. They can literally take control of people with the VAR syndrome.
At some point, yes. But I would also say that's essentially back to Sharon Apple, which I would say is the power of suggestion. There's not actively a hacking operation going.
I think it is.
If I hypnotize you and then with the power of suggestion tell you that you're a cop, now be a cop, I haven't hacked you. I have just influenced you. I would say that there is a difference on some level between hacking and implanting a suggestion.
Well, it's more than implantation. You literally implanted me with a virus that gets you control over my mind and body. So, yeah.
Yeah. Still, it's not much different.
It's hacking. It's not simply.
It's not hacking. Don't even think I'm being pedantic here. I think this is literally you're stretching to make the hacking term work. It's not hacking. Like, I'm giving you free reign. Just look up the word hacking and tell me what the definition of it is. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I'll look that up later. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so not very confident given that you're typically on ball for Googling to prove me wrong.
Okay.
Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I do not feel like what we can see happening is described as hacking.
Hacking. Definition. On Hacking Simulator.
Hacking Simulator. I'm going to guess 2023?
Getting unauthorized access to data and systems or computers.
So, not hacking then.
Almost these hacking features act to compromising digital devices and networks through unauthorized access to an account or computer system. Hacking is not always malicious, but it's mostly common associated with illegal activity and data theft by cyber criminals. Well,
so all of hacking is digital.
Yeah, but if you talk about brain hacking, then I guess it can be biological.
Well, the definitions that you're reading all say digital, which would imply to me that if there is such a thing as brain hacking, it's not called hacking. It'd be something else.
That's what they call it.
Whatever the words that they probably used in Inception or whatever. I'm pretty sure Inception, they didn't call it hacking. They called it incepting, and what's the other one? Well, incepting is putting an idea in someone's head. That's the name of the movie, but that's the thing that they don't typically do. Typically, they get information from somebody, which was the other thing.
Anyway, to your next point.
Oh yeah, we'll just move on from the fact that I'm right. So no, that's the first one. Why did Hines interact with the Makumo and Freya specifically? Could it imply that they are both Windemirians? I mentioned before that Walkir used to have Windemirian songs, could imply that Makumo used to be a Windemirian idol. The main detractor of that theory being the fact that when we went through a whole "is Freya a traitor" arc with the public, you'd think that they'd mention Makumo in the same thing, were I right? So maybe something else.
I mean, Meguma doesn't seem to have a runestone. Rune?
You
A
can
rune.
you can
not a
lose
rune.
that though.
Yeah, but it seems
As
to be pretty traumatic.
well, I mean, yeah, but if it was in the past, it wouldn't be traumatic now.
I mean, I think it would continually be trauma. Trauma doesn't
No,
disappear.
remember you thought one of the Windemirian pilots had his thing cut off, which turned out he
Yeah.
didn't. But if that was the case, it would display that you can just lose it and not. Like, to be fair, I'm watching Apothecary Diaries right now. A lot of eunuchs in the Apothecary Diaries. Those people still carry themselves.
They have to, but it doesn't mean that they like it, though.
Doesn't mean that they like it, but they don't express constant. Sorry, I forgot the word that you used.
Trauma?
Well, no, you said something else. Sorry, the word coming to my head is harrowing. That's not the right word either. My point is that we don't know if she was a Windemirian and lost her rune thing, that we don't know how long ago that would have been.
Well, it can't be too long because otherwise she starts showing signs of aging. So,
Yeah, but was Royd like 20 something? And he looks about to be the same age as her. Should still imply that they have some time. Like, we don't know how old Hines is, and not Hines, Hellman. We don't know how old Hellman is, and Hellman is the one with white on him. And the king, we know, is like 35 or something like that.
37.
And he's got white on him, too.
Yeah, he's dying, clearly.
Well, he's past the 30-year-old normal limit. Like, obviously, 30 is probably like the average lifespan, not the maximum or, what the common person actual age is. So it's entirely possible that Mikumo is just, Royd's age.
Probably. Okay, to my note then. It is clear that the prince and Walkür share the same vision, but it seems to be a vision granted by a third party, perhaps a recording left in the ruins.
Oh, sorry. When you said they share the same vision, I was thinking vision of the future, the things that we want to see. Typically, when you use the word vision, forgetting for a moment that the last episode we saw them see a literal vision. When you say they shared a vision, I was like, oh, they both have a plan for the future that's the same. I'm like, at what point did Hines express the same desire for everything to happen the same Walkir has?
No.
It's like, well, he did express the desire not to have any more people killed, but we seem to be ignoring that one. I don't know, because I remember I had a previous note about the fact that I thought everybody was seeing different visions of destruction, essentially. Because Hines saw the destruction caused by the dimensional bomb. Freya saw the fires and everything of her hometown, which itself also seems to have been caused by the dimensional bomb. And then Makumo saw the weird space thing.
I don't know what the other two. I do remember the crater they all saw, but that's it.
Well, the crater is the thing I'm referring to as the dimensional bomb explosion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's what Hines saw. And I'm pretty sure Freya saw her village burning. So we call people immature when their runes activate and display their emotions. Even enough that when Keith threatens Boj, Hellman points out that Boj's rune's going off. But then the king uses Royd's rune not going off as an insult as well. Your rune has fallen silent. I don't think there is any winning in this game of runes.
Big game of runes. Yeah, it's pretty
Well, again,
It's not well defined.
you're immature if you show emotion too much, but you're also heartless if you don't show any emotion at all. So there's a small middle ground. Also, the king is a hypocrite because his runes are constantly going red and going up like that.
It wouldn't be a king without being some hypocrisy.
Hip hop, God damn it, that joke fell for it.
Yeah. My next note. Keith viciously murdered Messer just to prove his superiority over him, but then got upset when the douche Boog pointed out Messer was no match for him.
It's a conversation that we had before where I was indicating how Messer was the best pilot we had, and you were like getting on me about the fact that I was indicating that the fact that he was controlling the Var syndrome made him the best pilot we had, and you were like, oh, he got killed, so clearly he wasn't the best pilot. It's like, yeah, of course, I'm not saying he's the best pilot ever, but still, that's what's happening here, is respect for another person at your skill level that you have not experienced in a long time. You want other people. Imagine you and me were playing StarCraft, right? And you imagined yourself as the best StarCraft player ever. And then I play against you, and I actually give you a challenge you haven't experienced a long time before. And after a long and grueling game, you beat me. And then somebody comes along who's like a fan of yours, and it's like, oh man, that Theta was real shit at the game, wasn't he? What a fucking loser. And that diminishes your accomplishment. You feel like you beat somebody who's your contemporary. You struggled to win, and you finally won. For you, this was a great game. And now, if the idea gets out there that one of your most challenging competitions was nothing, then that diminishes everything. That is what I believe is going on between Keith and Bogue, is that Bogue can't say this about Messer without diminishing me. If Messer is nothing and I had to struggle against him, then I'm nothing.
Which is not what Bogue wanted to say. That what Bogue was wanting to say, you're so great that even their best couldn't, be a match to you. But that's how he interpreted it. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why he goes off on Bogue. You have to respect him to respect me. Also, it could be a whole Warriors mentality, because we get from Hellman that Hellman trained Bogue, and Hellman has this whole Warriors thing going on as well. I guess this is the first time we're dealing with both hostile and friendly idols at the same time. We had Sharon Apple, but she wasn't opposed by any good idols in her run. Now we have our typical protagonist idols and an antagonist idol in the same run.
Would the prince be considered an idol?
I would think so. Literally, he's idolized by his people.
Yeah, I guess so.
People also love him enough not to want to see him die to the thing that he's doing, and he's dedicated to the cause essentially as much as anybody else, to the point where he's willing to die for it. I think he fills every quota of being an idol, and he sings.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. He sings.
Yeah, I just mean that in the realm of things that we consider idols in Macross, singing is the number one thing.
Okay, my next note then. They need to make space for a new pilot on the squadron, although who would match Messer, let alone Keith, is unknown. Also, response to we don't need to put a new pilot. Like, dude, you're pilot. You're down a pilot. You need a new pilot. Says no, I'm going to take over. I was like, shut up.
I mean, it doesn't make sense from the aspect that each pilot aids and assists a specific Valkyr member. So now there's going to be 4 pilots and 5 Valkyr members.
Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to fight as wingmen as well, so helping each other. So
yeah, no, it just doesn't make any sense unless we are preemptively planning to lose a Valkyr member, which could be happening.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Makumo's mystery doesn't actually pan out to anything, and she just dies. That or what's her name, the one the commander and Messer were both circling around. Well, not so much Messer, but that thing that maybe we've introduced her character arc and we've kind of fulfilled it. Well, I don't know, actually. She's their main connection to Lady M, so if we lose her, who's going to talk to Lady M? Mm-hmm. I guess Royd's aim is that Hines is more important than the king, and as Hines' retainer, it's his duty to protect what he sees is Hines' potential future. King of the Windemarians is a step down from king of the protoculture. So having him sing himself to death for a war that might be less important to Royd than whatever he's planning with all of the ruins might be the thing coming down the road. Keith pushes the idea that their lives are too short to be able to wait for Royd's planning to come to fruition, when Royd makes the cryptic statement that so time itself will not matter.
The super dimension and super dimension fortress coming back to hunt us.
Now, as you don't understand. Lala not only created the multiverse, she also created Macross.
Oh yeah, sure.
You say that. Lala's on Earth right now singing, pulling all the new types to her. But also Hines and the protoculture.
That's just Gundam.
Turns out the protoculture was actually Lala the whole time.
I would shoot somebody if that were true.
Well, when it comes to your murder trial, I want you to remember that this was recorded.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I believe he did it because Lala created Macross. Hear me out.
Yeah.
I have a lot of notes.
Anyway. Great. An army of short-lived but superhuman aliens with mind control abilities and ancient weapons in LA want to liberate 8 billion people. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, one, they don't have mind control abilities.
They do have... Are you not paying attention to how they control people with the VARs? What the hell, dude?
Remember that you're getting angry because I defeated you on the argument of hacking. I'm not saying that that's not mind control. I'm saying that they do not have mind control abilities. One, they're using protoculture-infused water and apples that have a specific genetic property to them to then create the ability for mind control to influence a person. But then they're also using protoculture ruins to then sing that power through it and then use that to mind control them. They do not have the power to mind control. They are using a bunch of added material to mind control. If I came up to you and showed you like a hypnotizing pattern on my phone and mind controlled you, the phone is the mind controlling aspect. I own the phone, so maybe it's some weird stretch, you could say, that I have mind control powers, but I don't have mind control powers. The phone is the mind control thing. No, Freya is not mind controlling anybody because she doesn't have the ability to mind control anybody, because as a Windemirian, that's not a property she has. The state is distributing apples. The state is distributing water, which gives the VAR syndrome to people. The VAR syndrome allows the protocultural ruins to be used to allow to amplify the prince's singing to then create that effect. This is like 7 steps removed from anything that the Windemirians genetically have the capability to do.
At the end of the day, they control all of that so far, and they're using it to mind control people, and it's working.
It's like we're watching like a 60s sci-fi thing where the mad scientist created a hypnotizing ray, and you said, humanity has the power to hypnotize people because one mad scientist created a hypnotizing ray. It's like, no.
It's more like I have a gun. I shoot you with a gun. I have the power to shoot people with this gun. Simple as that.
Yeah, but you're implying that humans have the ability to shoot people. And it's like, no, the humans have the ability to make guns and then point guns at people and shoot them. You're like skipping steps. Like, I don't know. I guess my argument is more about the fact that you're being very obtuse about this. Like, I feel like you understand what my argument is, but you just don't want to be wrong. So you're arguing that, oh no, Windemirians can't. If I took a Windemirian out of this cluster and put him on Earth, and you were saying, oh yeah, that Windemirian can mind control people. No, Windemirians can't mind control people. He have created a situation where a bunch of shit brought together allows them to. It'd be more like saying VARS syndrome and protoculture technology can mind control people. And I'm like, yeah, that's 100% true. Who's in control of that right now? The Windemirians. Essentially, though, if humans got that, humans could mind control people. It's literally guns kill people. That's the argument.
Well, humans don't have wing singers, though.
I don't know. The Valkyr, some of them are human. I guess most of them are human. So,
yeah, they can cancel out, but we don't see them using. They can cancel out the VAR syndrome, but they don't seem to be able to be using it to control people.
Well, it seems like a matter of the state has researched the use of the apples and the water to create a thing that brought
Also,
together.
it seems that Windermerians are immune to mind control.
I don't know. I would argue that they're probably not distributing the water across their own planet or something like that. Remember, it's a combination of items. It's like that. We both like Babylon 5. It's that poison thing that Londo does to Rifa. You know, I've given you half of the poison now, and I'll at some point in the future give you the other half, which activates it and will kill you unless you do this thing. They're bringing two things together to activate this thing, which will then allow the protoculture ruins to amplify a voice. My argument here comes from, let's say, Star Trek. Betazoids have a natural empath ability. So saying all Betazoids have the ability to read minds or emotions.
They're telepath. They're full telepath.
I know, but half human one, Deanna, is an empath. Yeah. I'm just saying that is a natural thing to Betazoids. Windermerians cannot naturally mind control anybody. So attributing it to the Windermerians themselves is my point of argument. That the Windermerians don't have anything. Whoever owns the thing, I have a gun, I can shoot gun, so I can shoot people. Yeah, but if I shoot you, or if I take you down, pick up gun, now I can do that. It's not a property you have, it's a property of whoever owns the gun. This is a combo of I've infected everybody with VAR syndrome, and now I have this protoculture technology that I've researched up to 60% now. So it's a product of whoever controls the research. Well, you know, vis-a-vis the corporation that we keep bringing up as a third party. If they betray, if they betray everybody and then have the ability to say mind control, it's not a Windermerian thing. It's whoever controls this protoculture technology.
I say right now they are short-lived super soldiers that have control over the ability to.
Yeah, I would say the Windermerians are a short-lived race of super soldiers with superhuman abilities that have a technology at the moment that allows them to mind control people.
Okay.
Again, I don't find it to be a pedantic argument because I believe it's like very. If it was in my notes, I would want it to be right because I wouldn't want to forget at some point that this was a thing that's only temporary. And that I wouldn't want to think down the line, oh, why don't they just mind control their enemies, forgetting for a moment that it's a product of a bunch of other shit. I wouldn't want to think that the Windermerians were suddenly Betazoids, for example.
To your next point, then.
So the Windermerians can mind. It's been 2 weeks, right? Well, who knows if I write a note that contradicts an entire debate that we've had. Yeah, I think it's happened before. Evidently, there are at least 19 planets in the cluster that are inhabited, according to the chart where people heard the singing. 9 more than the list of planets we have names for. Also, the chart had 2 planets shown that didn't get highlighted as having heard the singing or having ruins. Also, Al-Sahal is listed as having a ruin, which wasn't on the list before, and is the last ruin to be listed, as evidently there are 7 in the cluster.
And if they all come to powers combined, they can enclose the entire cluster in dimensional rifts or whatever.
Or ironically, form Captain Planets. By their powers combined.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, that was one creepy smile, Royd. I guess your concerns for the prince's health do not match your obsession with protoculture tech, eh? We talk about that he gets very excited in a way that doesn't seem to match his previous concern.
Well, I mean, I already...
You're like, okay.
I mean, I already tried to indicate towards what I thought Royd's motivations were. Again, King of the Windermerians is a step down from King of the Protoculture. For a show featuring music so front and center, the discordant sound that plays when Seeger Valens launches for the first time has to be an intentional show of how wrong everything is.
I agree. What exactly was lost? Because the Windermerians like, oh, we lost this, we lost that. A city? It seems there's plenty of Windermerians around. So what exactly the full bomb, if that is what it was, destroyed?
City ship.
Because it seems
was a city
Yeah,
ship.
but the city ship, it wasn't theirs. It was.
Oh no, there was they had a population center around it. We discussed this at length, I think, before. The idea that if you're what do you call it? Not sorry,
Colonizing.
No. You surround the enemy with yourself to make everything look normal. Like they drop their city ship and you build your city like in a sprawl around it. So you God, the word's not. It's like M something, not I think this is the same word that you use when you put like a reporter in with a group of soldiers.
Embedded.
Yeah, you embed yourself within the enemy, and that's the sacrifice that they're saying is that there was thousands of Windermerians in there when the bomb went off, so that the humans wouldn't know that anything was going wrong. They sacrificed a large number of their own citizenry.
Yeah, but here's the thing, because we have the impression from the Windermerians that it was the nuns who did the bomb. And from the nuns or people who were there, it's like, no, it was the Windermerians who used the bomb. The feeling is not, oh, we used the bomb on ourselves. It was like, this is what we lost when this bomb went off.
Well, we know that's an internal lie, though. Because we know that's the lie that Roy is telling Hines. But we also know from Keith and the King that that's not what happened. That we bombed ourselves to get rid of them at the start of the War of Independence.
The way they put it is, we lost. Look at all the things that we lost. It's like,
also, you can see a self-sacrifice as a loss. Also, if you remember, I can't remember the name of the cat people. The cat people also say that Windermerians are likely to bomb enemies and friends. So it's a public secret. I guess just the younger generations of Windermerians don't know it. That's how Hines can be fooled by this.
I think it's still ambiguous, deliberately so.
I don't think it's ambiguous. I think we're supposed to see. This is a thing that I bring up a lot when I'm watching Apothecary Diaries, of what's publicly known, what is secretly known, and what everybody is supposed to know. Because I keep getting, you should see my board for Apothecary Diaries, because I have all this spread out in a bunch of different stuff, and so many conspiracies are going on at once that I'm starting to lose track of what I actually know and stuff that I've said already before it actually happened, to the point of what we're supposed to know. Like, to the point that people are saying things about one of the characters, and I'm like, I don't think they're talking about him. They must be talking about somebody else, because I think we're so far in that even the people who haven't figured it out by now are supposed to know this is true. So the fact that we're still talking about this must mean that we're actually talking about somebody else, and something is going on with somebody else. So I think we're already at this point when it comes to the dimensional bomb going off on Windermere. I think everybody is supposed to know by now that the Windermerians did it to themselves, sacrificed a portion of their population, and see that sacrifice as a loss.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, the language, because if it were a sacrifice, it was like, why are they not honoring the people that was sacrificed, right?
Because of the lie. We lied to justify what we did after. So to break the lie to honor them would actually be dishonoring them, because we'd have to acknowledge what we did and how we were unjustified in our actions. We did this on our beliefs, but not through a justification. We had to do this to justify it. So their sacrifice was to justify. If we bring this to light, we dishonor them by the dishonor that was literally bombing the humans for no reason. It's mental gymnastics, essentially.
Yeah.
Look, if I if say you were my brother, right? Say you and me hate our neighbor to such a fucking degree, like for whatever reason. It's an imaginary reason, it doesn't matter. To the point that I shoot you dead. I shoot you dead and blame it on our neighbor, just to make sure he goes to prison for the rest of his fucking life. I'm going to honor your sacrifice of your death to frame him by never telling anybody what really happened. We were committed to this to make sure that they fucking whatever, imaginary reason for why we hate them, but that's the thing. I love you as a brother, but we're committed to making this happen. It would just do you a major disservice and ruin everything that we did to just come clean and tell everybody why. It's mental gymnastics. It's not healthy thinking, but I think it's what's happening.
Well, to your next point, then.
I'm thinking Messer's flight log is meant to stand opposed to his dressing down he gave Mirage and Hayate earlier in the run. That it seemed like he didn't care because he just thought that they were going to get themselves killed, so he was investing as little time as possible in them, when in fact that this is meant to show that he was watching over them and taking notes despite that, because he really did care. As they say in the end, so that that distance was there, so there wouldn't be any hesitation in case he needed them to shoot him down.
Well, my note is basically the same, but in a single sentence. Messer was ever the teacher, even after death.
Yeah.
Your next note, then.
Well, no, your note was in response to my note, so I think it's still technically your note.
This episode was a proper send-off to a key character, far more than other characters got, like Roy or Michael. Or Michelle.
Well, I think Michael died later in the show than this one. Roy, also later, technically, if you condense it down to be an equivalent amount of episodes. They died in the back half, so they also died in, like, well, I don't know that so much Roy. Roy just seemed to have died happenstance. Definitely Michael, though. Michael died kind of in the action wrap-up of the show. I think this is a problem, though. Because we've established how good Messer was, how important the relationships and everything. We have half the show to go, which means that we're going to slowly just forget about Messer. Like, even if they bring up, oh, remember Messer every episode, we don't see him anymore. The emotional impact is going to fade over time. More important shit is going to happen. So, the impact of Messer, like, if we were to rank him near the end of the show versus now he would score way higher than he does near the end of the show, I'm sure. You know, unless they raise him from the dead, like the protoculture has some sort of Lazarus technology. That was what the final 30% was. So yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know if I used the word problematic. It's not problematic. It's reductive. We're reducing the impact of Messer by having him die so early to the point that he's slowly going to be forgotten. The impact of his death is going to be forgotten. The impact on the characters is going to be forgotten by the time we get to the end. I say this because I liked Messer. I said that early on when you thought he was an asshole. I said, no, he's my kind of character. And then, of course, my character curse comes into play. People I like die early, more early than not. So I just don't so much enjoy the fact that he died halfway in and they gave him this great impact episode. Because you know, especially the fact that we've been told that the show gets better in the back half, that better means more impactful stuff, more character interaction, more everything that's going to make us forget about Messer. You know, and, you know, that's a story in itself. Maybe that's the meta to move on, get over, whatever. But that's just the reality. That Messer's death now means that Messer's going to become unimportant later. Oh, sorry, that's also my next note.
Oh,
the problem with Messer's death is, just like Kinryu's in Macross 7, he's an awesome character removed halfway through the show. By the time we get to the end, how awesome Messer was is going to be so watered down by everything to come after that. Messer will just slowly be forgotten as a character for everything we will go through later, which I guess is also just a very real thing to do. My friends from 20 to 30 years ago were probably amazing, but time has reduced them to failing memories. Sorry, I was literally responding to your note and then realizing, oh, fuck, my next note is literally the thing I've been saying.
Yeah. My last note of that episode, of this episode, 11. That's the number of the note. I appreciate the sentiment, and while you certainly improved, I doubt you can fill Messer's shoes. Which I think that's what they're setting it up, that Hayate's going to be the next Messer. Which, if that's what's going to happen, I'm going to feel like, he's good. I always said that he was good, but...
Well, my next note also aligns with yours. Not replacing Messer and just having Hayate do double the work is still incredibly stupid. Hayate is still worse than Mirage, I believe. Messer was 37% of the squad's fighting strength because Hayate wasn't that good. His absence doesn't increase Hayate's ability, It just spreads out the division to possibly be more even.
Now on to episode 12, King of the Wing. I guess we're using D&D units of size now. That's the description of the screen, like huge. It's a huge thing. It's like, okay. Like small, medium, large, huge,
Also applies to
colossal.
Pathfinder.
Your next note then?
I guess Royd is stripped of authority on the ship, as he only has authority when on land. That's what... Sorry, when I misspelled something from 2 weeks ago, it's real harder to remember what I was trying to say. That's what his and Keith's previous conversation seemed to imply, and the only reason I can think he wouldn't have any authority here.
No, I think the reason why he has an authority is because the king has... She had authority as long as he was being the prince's keeper, and especially spoke as the direct servant of the prince. But once the king reasserted his control, he lost his power because, although he's the prime minister, he should still have it. But I guess
my interpretation again is that he has authority on Windermere, and they're no longer on Windermere. He was made to accompany the king, but he has authority over Windermere. He doesn't have authority on the ship, especially a ship that the king has direct authority over.
Yeah, I think he lost the authority the moment he say, "I'm going to take in charge." And I was like, "Oops, there he goes." That's my interpretation of it, anyway.
I don't remember what my original point was, so I'm just reading it and trying to interpret what I wrote.
Yeah. Okay. As plans go, attacking the Windermereans in orbit around Al Shahal makes sense, but boy, it leaves very little margin for error. Then again, waiting for the Windermereans to strike and having the fight them, as well as the Nun's forces on the planet, would be a lost cause.
I mean, I'm on board with the other plan to attack Windermere.
Yeah, but the problem is they couldn't pass the barriers.
We don't know that. We've never seen anybody try, so we don't have any visual experience to say that they couldn't.
Going all the way back to Frontier, how difficult it was when they had to go through fold interference, right? And why they couldn't really move because of it. I think that in that sense, technology hasn't.
Well, that's a fold. Fold crease, fold something. But that was only traveling through fold. You could still drop out of fold, go through it. This seems to be a dimensional barrier, which would be in all reality, you know? But we haven't actually seen it. Like, the sky from Windermere is just blue. We don't see a night sky. Well, we don't see a night, but a visual distance. Like, a night's, I don't know. I don't know what the diffraction level of the Windermerean atmosphere is to... Also, I don't know what the dimensional barrier even looks like. Like, it could be blue. We could be looking at it. Like, Windermere sky and the... Yeah. But I'm just saying that we haven't experienced it. We don't know. Like, they could have sent a scout ship there, you know? Send a ghost. Send a ghost there and just give us a visual.
Well, they literally say that the Windermereans have developed specific technology to get through it, but they themselves don't have that technology, so maybe they tried it. And it's like,
again, though, that doesn't work for me from a now standpoint, because the argument that they give isn't the dimensional barrier. That they give some argument like, if we're fighting them there, they're going to run roughshod over the rest of everything. But my point of view is the Zeon point of view from the end of the 1 Year War, which is to say we go right for their homeland and they've got no option but to respond to us or lose everything. Wasn't that a thing in Seed too? Sorry, this is a common thing I believe in shows that we've watched before. The idea that if we go for your throat, it was an Origin. Sorry, it was an Origin. The idea that I think it was the Joaquin fleet. If we go directly, that was why they pulled back at the Battle of Loom. We can't go all in because if we did, we might achieve victory, but we might lose everything else in the process.
Yeah.
The different a win-lose versus a lose-lose. Mm-hmm. But I believe that's the play.
Victory.
Well, yeah, Fury. Yeah. I always said Pyrrhic victory. But that's from the product of never having heard the word before, and Starfleet Battles, the tabletop war game, had a number of scoring conditions for battle, and I always remember Pyrrhic was the one that I got the most. You throw everything in.
King Pyrrhus of, I think, Greece or Anyway, I don't remember where the term comes
I
from.
remember there was a speech associated with that, and I used to know the speech. Not
Yeah, if we
by
keep losing,
heart. I used to know of the speech. I should
yeah,
say.
if we keep we won this battle, but if we keep winning more battles this way, we'll lose the war, something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, I still think that's the play. The fact that you've brought all of your forces to one spot, and essentially only a very small portion of them are able to avoid the mind control effect. You've got to use what small forces you have in the best way possible, and I believe an attack on the homeland is probably the best thing, because you can't defend constantly against the protoculture ship that's moving everywhere and has the ultimate defenses and offense ability.
Oh, what are you gonna? You're gonna threaten the Windermere people with destruction? Oh yeah, if you don't come fight us, we'll warm them for more of
You
it.
know,
What?
essentially, yes. I mean, you don't have to go through with it, but you have to make it such a threat that the king of the Windermerians is not going to have any choice but to come back.
Yeah, because whenever else, war crimes.
It's not a
Anyway,
war crime if you don't. What did I just say? I said you don't have to do it. It's still a threat. A threat is not a war crime. The act is a war crime.
if they call your bluff, then you're like, oh,
Well, then
uh,
you come up with something else. Look, I'm not a military strategist. I didn't go to the academy, right? I'm just saying that do something. Do something with the Windermerian planet, because that's something that they care about or have expressed care about. Because, if you do threaten them and they call your bluff, you've maybe just dissuaded the rest of the Windermerian people that the king doesn't fucking care about them. You've at least accomplished a political victory, if not a military one.
anyway, my next note. Actually, no, that was my note. So your note then.
I don't know if you can death flag a planet, but they've certainly tossed around so many death flags that Ragnar is going to die.
Yeah, that's a thing. I'm repeating another point that I made before because it's still salient. I want to remind myself of it. Again, why is Epsilon, or the Epsilon Foundation, the full name, so eager to help the Windermerians conquer the cluster? What are they getting out of this? Maybe
Research into
that's an open.
protoculture.
Yeah, but are they going to use it anywhere? Sell the technology?
Well, I mean, they would be at the forefront of protocultural research, so who else has 60 to 70% research into a protocultural ruin? Not only
Depending on
that,
what
not only
ruins we're doing.
research, actionable research.
Where they're going to sell it to a third party, like we're going to sell it to the Noons, so the Noons then can use that technology to strike back at the.
They are
Yeah,
a company. Why not? The
but
nuns would be a viable buyer. You know who else would
probably not
be?
the only
You
one.
know who else would be? Everybody. Literally everybody would be a viable buyer. Anybody who has access to a protocultural ruin or thinks that they can have access to a protocultural ruin.
I mean, they must
So,
be all over the galaxy.
yeah, it would literally be the hottest commodity ever. We have literally the only viable research of activating protocultural ruins. How much are you willing to offer for it? Hayate's dad was a soldier that sent him a fold crystal. I'm gonna guess Asamu is his dad. He
Hmm.
said his dad got sent all over. We saw Asamu's record. The dude goes all over. According to Frontier, he's still around and fighting. He's technically a soldier, unlike the mercenaries we got in Frontier and whatever Basara was. Hikaru is too old now for me to honestly guess him. Oh, and he does the Asamu hand thing, obviously.
Anyway, I believe that was your point.
Number of my points.
I'll move to mine next.
It's actually my last point.
Oh,
I only had 3 for this episode.
I have 4 left. So let me rattle them out. So now Keith is contemplating genocide. Considering humanity's experience with that, including the destruction of most of their planet at the hands of Centrati, there's no possible way that would ever go wrong for the Windermerians. Because the Windermerians might be strong, they might even have the Wind Song, but eventually the sheer numbers of Centrati and human ships that would come after the Windermerians, yeah, they're gonna lose.
I don't think it actually matters. Well, 2 things. 1, apparently genocide only makes us stronger, weirdly enough. 2, I don't think it's a matter of like, look, even when Grace in the show was going to pull off her whole "I'm going to take over the entire uh, galaxy with this force thing," how
Yeah,
many people really showed up? Like a
a lot of
lot,
people showed
yeah, a
up.
lot, but not like what you'd imagine a galaxy's worth of military showing up would be.
I mean, one battle, I don't think you're going to find an entire galaxy, but eventually people will pile on,
Yeah,
send
that's the
more and
thing.
more
That's what you're
ships.
saying. Eventually, meaning it's going to be a slow trickle. You know, what'd be real great. A slow trickle of people getting mind controlled. Our military just keeps getting bigger. These idiots just keep coming.
Well, there's no proof that this VAR syndrome has gone beyond the cluster.
Oh, and now you're not going to argue that when Nemerians have mind control powers.
I mean, they have the ability to control people.
Yeah,
We
sure.
have established that.
Let's just hope that, this military that's rushing in here doesn't have its own supply and will need to, use local supply to feed itself with. Ha ha, that's the trick.
Well, they don't have to eat the apples, though. They
Yeah,
can eat
yeah, but
anything
we can
else.
also just, put the stuff in other things. It's an additive to the apple. All we need is some infiltrators. Thank God we have these 3 pedophiles.
Anyway, then now criticism to the nuns, right? Of course, the nuns' solution to the problem is to nuke it. How's that worked for them before, eh? Answer, not well. And the problem is not atmospheric damage, which is what he says. Oh, it's going to be the atmosphere. We're going to limit the damage. It's a chain reaction that could destroy the planet. Would you suggest that if it was Earth or even Eden? Jackass.
I mean, to be fair to the nuns, or the predecessors of the nuns at the very least, nukes have been the solution to and problem most of the time. Literally, how did we defeat the Centrati? A nuclear punch, essentially. Like, we punched through them, and then we launched the nukes right into the heart of the Centrati base, killing Golg, right? Or Boa. Golg Boa something. Sorry, I understand that Golg is also the name of the guy from Plus. So it's like, it's the other guy, the guy from SDF Macross. Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
A lot of the time, when we need to take out the big bad, a nuke tends to be the thing that we go with. And it's worked sometimes. So, when you ask, how's that working out for you? 50-50, I'd say. Pretty good.
I don't think the nuns will wait that long. After all, a planet gets nuked in at least 3 Macross series so far.
Oh, you mean till they activate? Sorry, I thought you meant till going back to the piling on thing till they respond.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, this kind of feels like a backwater, in which case the nuns might not even rally. Because essentially, the nuns aren't really involved here that much.
No.
Remember the operating force here, that even the nuns are like, let me tell you what's going on, is the PMC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like,
and
they're the main operating force here. I don't even think they even reference the nuns are sending any reinforcements. So we got some guys here planning
the nuns
a nuke.
are the local militias, so are nuns, right? But that's it.
Well, they wouldn't
Defense
be militias
fleets, right?
then. Yeah, they'd be the defense fleets. But what I'm saying is the defense fleets are getting taken over, and then they're getting, what do you call it? All their forces are going to one spot. I can't remember the word I'm trying to look for here. But they're not getting sent reinforcements. It's just like the local nun command is like, here's what we're going to do with the nukes and see if that works. We have no word from the outside the cluster that the nuns are sending in reinforcement forces. The frontier is not on its way, or it wouldn't be. It's a colony ship. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The quarter battle, what the fuck it's called. The battle quarter.
Yeah. Macross quarter.
Yeah, whatever it was. We're not getting sent reinforcements from across the galaxy like we did at the end of Frontier. So I don't see that becoming a thing.
So the Ellison jumps to attack Al Shahal, and the Windermerians jump to attack Ragnar. I think we can kiss Ragnar goodbye.
I already said the death flag thing.
Yeah. Death flag for entire planet.
But again, the thing I brought up last episode, or I guess technically last episode, considering that we did 2 episodes this time, is the element that the ruins have a root system going through the planet to the core, which didn't feel like what I expected the visual to be on that. Because there's only one giant root that goes to the core, and the rest is spread out through that quarter of the planet.
I mean, if you do sufficient damage to the planet, like it happened with the full bombing Frontier, you make the planet uninhabitable anyway. Right?
Well, that's the thing, though, is we're talking about the difference between a nuke and a dimensional bomb. A dimensional
Yeah, but we
bomb
don't
ate
know
like a
VS.
quarter of the moon, whereas this is just a nuke.
Yeah, but if the thing is, what would be the knock-on effect, right? You destroy
I
the
expect that we're going to get a visual that the nuke is going to go off, and then we're going to see like an energy surge go down every one of the routes. So like a fourth of the planet is going to get blown up. But I'm just saying that at the end of the day, it's still a nuke versus a dimensional bomb. Technically, sometimes when I feel smarter than the show, they should make tactical dimensional bombs. Like, imagine a suitcase dimensional bomb, right?
Probably that's what they used against the city in Windermere.
I don't know. That
Because they only
seems
made it
still
one
pretty
crater.
big. Like I said before, it felt really small.
I mean, remember that the original dimensional bomb took about a third of a planet, and it was just like
but that was what 10 years ago or something like that. Like the technology probably got smaller. I'm just saying, like, imagine if we could miniaturize the dimensional bombs to the point where, like, sorry, I'm just like going off into extremes in my head now, like medical technology. We're gonna get that cancer dimensional. We're gonna fold it right out of you. You know, like to the point where, yeah, we don't need to blow up a significant part of the ocean or anything. We're gonna just like dimension bomb exactly the size of the ruins. So it's like a giant little circle. The water fills back in. The ruins are gone. You know, kind of like the way the SDF Macross did to the island.
Yeah.
Hell, technically, just do that. Bring in a folding ship. An unmanned folding ship with a bubble that just goes down to the ruins and just bloop, that little bit.
Well, then. That's all my notes.
All right, well, I guess that is everything. So let's go ahead and hop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Mass mid. Oh yeah, the end of last episode.
Yep.
It's weird that they detected an approaching body while in fold space, when the object that's approaching wasn't in fold space.
Maybe they have detectors so they don't collide with planets.
Well, we know that they have, I can't remember, they named it in Macross 7. Okay, I think that's the first time that's ever happened before. Firing a beam weapon through the fold thing. Her hair is moving independently. I pointed out with Renka, and people in the chat were like, fucking stop paying attention to that. Doesn't mean anything. It's an anime. Fuck you. It meant she was infected by the... whatever it was called. I can't remember. Sorry, what the fuck was your helmet? Was it a hallucination helmet? Yeah, like...
I think it's holographic. I don't know.
What's the point of having a holographic helmet? It won't protect you when your head just
no, I think I think the thing is that they're supposed to.
What, trap them in fold space? Or, you know, captured a protoculture ship. It's not really a trick. Can you repair a protoculture ship? At last, I've got my white whale. I mean, my green whale. I'll call him Sudan.
風の歌が再び響く時までシグルバレンスは守り抜いてみせるデフォルト反応来たかアルファ、ベータ、ガンマ小隊は敵巨大戦艦を攻撃
I just feel like you're kind of a cheap move. Just randomly be able to shoot the ship that has an invincible shield.
I mean, they were jumping, they couldn't use all their power.
No, I mean, that's what they said.
Yeah.
They put all the power into navigation or something like that. It's just... This is the first time that's happened?
そちらの作戦は失敗したようですね。予定通り指向性反応弾は起動させていただきます。速やかに退避した方がよろしいかと。市民の避難は完了していないんだぞ。これは新統合軍の作戦です。
Yeah, this guy's an asshole.
Do the city ships not able to, like, launch after they land once?
I don't know.
Legitimately put everybody on the city ship and have the city ship take off. I mean, legit, he's coming after you. You don't have to bait him with following. Again, the thing I just don't appreciate about these shows is that nobody just has a jet or a Valkyrie that's just better. It's always everyone's competing against their skills, right? You know, if you've got a better turn radius, better speed adjustments, etc., you're just going to be better. Skill doesn't get you a win.
狙いはプロトカルチャーの遺産ということか。十分に引きつけろ。見つめ合って恋をして無我夢中で追いかけてだけどもっと
Put all these eggs on my bridge.
Yeah.
I suppose it would be more annoying if you didn't like the music and they were singing at you.
Yeah.
You know, like the Windemirians actively hate the Valkyrie music.
I mean, they do.
That's what I'm saying. It's that much more annoying. It's not even good music to you. It's like if I started getting into a fist fight with you and started singing bluegrass gospel at the same time. Not even a low yield explosion.
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, they killed the kids.
Well, no, I'm gonna assume the kids are fine, but she's dead. Hey, your helmet. You wanted to see it. Wasn't even attached to the ship, I guess. So the helmet edition that was supposed to add to the Valkyrie legitimately only got used when he ejected. I'm assuming we did lose a lot of our squad members too.
Yeah.
No, our squad members. We saw a number of the squad member jets blow up.
Yeah.
Though I was also going to point out the fact that a bunch of the Rognans were getting on boats to go into the water. The water would be directly towards the explosion because it was all ground around it.
And the ship survived the enemy, so the bomb anyway.
Well, yeah, because the ship was coming in towards it. It was the Cygnus Volgear
ミラージ教官
that was over top of it.
反応弾間に合わなかった。でもウィンダミアの戦艦も
No, he wasn't.
Target remains, sir. Target remains. Sorry, Independence Day.
Yeah.
They've got a fucking shield. Do you not remember?
艦は無事か
No, seriously. Who had all these eggs here? Is it Easter?
敵が反応弾のエネルギーを吸収し消滅した。
そのようです母なる大地を汚す不浄の火をためらいもなく使う。やはり地球人などに銀河の覇者を名乗る資格はない。
Do they like turn to dust?
ホールド反応増
This is like a Gorgon's death?
Okay, what the hell is this?
この
Oh.
破空間から転移してきた。
Is it like one of those things where, you know, the explosion makes it grow more or something?
データは取れた。直ちに撤収する。はっ、了解。本艦と地上に出現した未知の巨大システムがリンクして情報交換を始めています。やはりこの艦が西風圏確立の鍵だったようです。
陛下、風の歌を歌います。あのシステムから強い力を感じました。
これぞプロトカルチャーの意志。歌うのだ。ハインツ。真の王の名のもとに。
Jesus Christ.
ダンジャール・ロム・マヤン。
ルダンジャール・ロムマヤン。
Okay, new name drop.
Yeah,
Wait, is it or is that his name?
I guess so.
No, that's not his name.
変形
Not a name on the board we have.
いつもより強い。
Yeah.
ハインツ様。
Still blowing up.
Well, they're in the city ship, so they were heading to the city ship.
アラド少佐、アイランド船から緊急連絡です。
デルタ1より全軍に告げる。緊急事態発生。これよりラグナを砲撃。
Yeah, we lost.
逃げるのかよ。市民にバルカの兆候が現れた。暴動が起これば被害は甚大なものとなるだろう。
More or less massive than the reaction bomb.
Yeah.
ラグナから避難させる。避難完了まで一歩も引くな。以上。
おお、いい色してんじゃん。
色ってハヤテ。
情熱の赤い角。
What a weird thing to say right now.
ああ、角ちゃん、エッチ。
ワルキューレは俺が守る。
やられたくせに。
せ、いい感じの歌。よろしく頼む
Hey,
ぜ。
remember that nuke went off and killed like all those kids?
Yeah.
届けるかね。
Yeah.
Let's flirt some more. That'd be cool.
じゃあ、こっちも行こうぜ。ミラージュ副隊長。
でもあなたの期待は。
当てならある。
It was Messers. Oh wait, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only a little bit bloody on the back.
Hmm.
Oh, it was Messers. I was just joking.
借りるぜ。
How disrespectful. Because one, we're also disregarding orders because we're supposed to be leaving.
Well, they said they had to cover the evacuation. That's what they had to do.
Oh, so we can't take off. We just waited a long time. Remind me, did Hikaru like immediately start flying in Roy's jet?
みんなよく聞け。
Yeah.
No, I remember
He got the squadron leadership.
I'm pretty sure they just painted on his stuff onto his jet.
No, it was a shit.
How disrespectful, both of them.
ラグナ。
No, I mean, it's just we have.
敵はすでに逃亡を始めた。勝利の風は我が内にあり。だが この憂いは立たねばならない。ワルキューレを殲滅する。
Oh, I feel like we're about to lose Keith.
アルファ、ベータ、ガンマおよび各小隊はアイランド戦並びにアイテールを死守。
Sorry, weren't just a second ago all of you were like bar syndroming it up?
避難が完了するまで
Yeah, but while Tor is counseling it.
Sorry, does the Valkyrie have a wind of its own?
Apparently.
デルタ4フォーメーションアドバンス。かかった加速した敵艦の方に逃がすか。
I'm gonna be pissed if Hyate takes out Keith.
あいつこんな風の中で
That's what I'm saying. A better jet should defeat you no matter what your skill level is.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You have a poor pilot and a bad jet.
I'm not saying that. Keith is the best pilot in the best jet. I'm not saying it's the best jet. I'm just saying there should be a technological difference here. Why is everybody always on the same technological level?
逃げてデルタ4早て
腐ったリンゴのようなものどもよ、今日こそ葬り去ってやる。
Also, I guess we've stopped using hologram technology in our fights.
フレイヤ
デルタ4
敵空母サウンドホールド発沈黙。本艦と出現したプロトカルチャーシステムとの同調安定。
作戦は順調です。本艦の攻撃システム起動。
Now step to the back. Go on, right. Take over.
よろしい。戦艦砲撃準備。目標敵空母。
I mean, legit, you can't look at that scene with the grin he has on his face and how close he gets to the king's back. Nothing is about to happen.
Yeah.
なんとか三雲さんこれくらい
He does kind of look like Birdman.
止まるな。進め。
リシオンが
I mean, even though it crashed into the water, it seemed to have been fine.
そのけ
Yeah.
大したことない
This episode is filled with a lot of people getting hit by stuff, but the deaths not being exactly shown.
届けなきゃルンルンルンルンフレイヤルンルンピカ来たフレイヤあの子まさか一度だけの
And that's when she turned into a magical girl. I would think the force of the wind being forced down your throat.
フレイヤ飛んでる女命がけで歌を届けにフレイヤちゃん
飛んでる。
みんな
Also, why did the Windemirian protocol ship stop firing?
Recharging their weapons, I guess.
Just 2 shots and then a 30-minute recharge.
あの歌フレイヤお前
I mean, this is certainly different from
And
all
now
the
she
other
gets killed.
versions. No, she gets caught. This is the Hikaru,
Yeah.
Hayato. Sorry, Alto, rather.
パインツなんだあのリンゴ娘フレイヤ
Oh yeah, I forgot she had jets in a skirt. It would be something if Frey just suddenly died halfway through the show.
フレイヤは私が颯は思いっきり好きなように飛んで白騎士を倒しなさい
ありがてえミラー
Again, fuck you if he defeats Keith. He has neither the skill, training, ability.
フレイヤミラージュさん
To do so would imply that Messer wasn't even that good.
読める奴の動きが次元バリア消失
Why? Did the
Because,
singing bring down
she-
the shield?
Yeah, because he countered the wing singer.
Yeah, but I don't know. He wasn't the generator of the ship.
Yeah, he was the one who was doing the.
No, because he hasn't been singing this entire time. He only just recently started singing, implying that all the previous generator engine stuff wasn't him. Well, who would have guessed?
何
Get these fucking eggs off of my bridge.
やるな艦長行くぜグラビア邪魔はさせんアーネスト
See, I mean, it's got energy.
甘いわ
Wow, this is the time where our aim got shit.
一度だけの恋なら君の中で
風がこうしたこの感じ
So implying that the Freya Ate connection is essentially the same as Bar syndrome.
Yeah.
フレイヤの歌があるから
It didn't kill him, but defeated him.
I don't know.
本艦の損傷
Kind of went to like a cockpit explosion and we looked on from the outside.
敵の追撃は不要本艦とプロトカルチャーシステムの結合を急げ
追撃機確認できません直営のデルタを除き航空機
Yeah,
の収容
for some weird reason it looked like we were winning a whole hell of a lot there, but we continued the evacuation.
緊急フォールドスタンバイ
Yeah, but their mission was to protect the civilians who were escaping.
Yeah, but if they defeat the enemy, there's no reason to escape anymore.
They also were damaged as well.
ラグナ私たち
Yeah, so was the enemy.
青い
Remember when we shot them right in the bridge?
絶対戻ってくるからな
Who are you saying that to? Everyone you know is on the city ship. We'll come back, planet. Oh, conceivably everyone...
That made it.
Yeah, I'm saying, well, you think everyone you know is on the city ship.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're leaving a bunch of people behind. You think you've got everybody. Don't worry, Ragna. We'll come back for you. Who the fuck cares about Ragna? The people matter, not the planet.
Oh, it's their home.
Cool. Worry
I
about
care
that
about my
later.
home.
Yeah, but not if you're like, oh no, the hurricane's coming. It's going to wipe us all out. 100%. It's the highest tier category ever on Earth. I care more about you and your family. Fuck your house. Your house is getting wiped out.
I think this girl died, got swept away by the wave at least.
Well, the wave. I think she got incinerated by the blast. The only reason I think the kid survived is because it's a fucking anime show that hasn't gone that dark yet. Well, I mean, you didn't kill him like I thought you would, but your things are glowing. Oh, touch them. Touch your things together. Ah.
お父様
Oh, he got what he deserved.
Time to rest.
Time to die.
He deserved that.
He wants to conquer everybody and brainwash
He
them.
wants to do what he thinks is best for the people.
陛下の遺言に従い今後は私が指揮を取る
That's a
そ
lie.
して我がウィンダミア王国は今ここに征服権の完全なる確立を宣言する
Also, get these eggs off my bridge.
Also, how the hell did that thing teleport into this? And what the? I think the Noons actually were cooperating.
It didn't.
They were cooperating with him.
Well, yeah, I was going to make a joke about that, but I don't think it's actually true. I think it's incidental that they were performing an experiment, and the experiment worked the way they wanted. It just happened to be incidentally good for the Windemirians. They said it folded in from subspace.
Yeah.
So essentially, that these things exist above all of the ruins, I imagine, in subspace. And I guess that the ruins require a massive energy infusion in order to activate them in that way, and that's what we saw happen.
I guess so.
I mean, it's
Either
the first
way.
time really we've heard the word subspace as well.
Yeah.
Because, you normally you would say fold space. This is subspace.
Space, whatever that means.
I guess implying that all protein, all protocultural
Protoculture.
ruins have shit hanging around them that we just don't see. Well, except for that one in Macross 7, which just fucking got destroyed.
Yeah. I don't know what to feel about this episode.
I
guess it all depends on whether you buy into Hayate being able to pull that off because of Freya helping him. If you can, good episode. If you can't, shitty episode.
Well, it's not the focus of the episode for me. It's just an unearned thing from Hayate. Like, we don't see him training that much. We see more of him skipping training than we do him training. And the element that also all of Messer's notes never got to him until after Messer was dead.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the element that they're showing off that Freya makes him better. But again, as I brought up before the fighting even started, or I guess during the fighting, the element that technology is always shown in these shows to have no factor whatsoever. It's always your skill level. And it's like, sure, there's a maximum amount of skill that you can pull off in a fighter that is lower tech than the other fighter. But we never do that. Like, at best, that was Macross Plus's thing. But then those were contemporary projects at best, too. And it's like, what was it, Gundam that you were talking about? God, what's the term? First generation mobile suit versus like a fifth generation mobile suit. A first generation Valkyrie, what was it? The VF1 is not going to stand up to these fucking things. But we never see that, and it's like your argument that skill is going to the best VF1 pilot can beat a shitty VF 17? Those aren't even 17s. I don't know what these are anymore. 20 somethings, 21s. No, 21 was the head thing. 22 was also a head thing. That's the one that Max had.
I think we're
25,
now
26?
40 because the VF-35 was the one that was flying in Frontier. So
yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we're that high. At the same time, remember that there was like a VF 200 something in Frontier too. I think those are just
and VF 111 too.
Anyway, the point being is that we don't explore the technological differences at all. It's always, we're inequivalent fighters. It's all skill. It's like, well, I feel like if we really want to show off jet stuff, like, maybe we should have fighters that are better in space than they are in the air, and then when we get into a dogfight in an atmosphere, oh no, this guy actually is a little bit worse, and he has to actually rely on his skill, and maybe we'll show that somehow. No, it's always just, I'm a little bit more skilled than you are, and I'm gonna win. It's like, cool. That's not really interesting to me. Like, cool, they're pulling cool, hard turns and everything. It's like, we're never expressing what the fighters themselves are capable of. It's always just what the pilots are capable of, and I'd like some sort of combination of those two things. Like, oh, his fighter is specifically designed for space, and now we're fighting in an atmosphere, and he's not able to pull the turns that I'm capable of doing. And he has to do, maybe then show us skill stuff. Like, he's capable of making those turns because he's doing shit the fighter wasn't designed to do, and maybe the fighter is getting stressed out. We see, like, bits falling off of it in places where, like, the G's are being put on the metal, is straining the metal in ways that it wasn't designed to take. Like, it's a fighter show in the way that you said, but a fighter jet show where we can do cool stuff like that, but we never do. And that's why I'm getting slightly disappointed in, like, 7 series in or whatever, that it's always, I'm slightly more skilled than you are. And it's like, come on, man. How many times have we done this now? The song and dance is getting old.
Still,
For me,
I thought the episode was going to go more gritty.
Oh.
I was surprised that thing appeared, but yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying when I was saying that the focus wasn't the dogfight for me. The focus on was for how much it seemed like the Windermerians were going to win here. Like, oh no, they're shooting everything and we're losing pretty hard. Look at the explosions that are going off and everything. And then just out of nowhere, we start winning the day, even though technically we're winning a retreat. It's still like, we could have gone pretty dark here. I guess, I know I'm saying the word like a million times in a row, but I feel like what should have happened here is the nuke goes off, right? And we see some of the side characters that we've been following fucking die. Like, oh god, that's horrible, right? But oh no, a bunch of people did make it to the city ship and it's launching, and we're gonna retreat because the Vars thing is causing the thing. Oh no, they fucking shot the city ship. We see it going down into the water, and then no, actually, we do Big Johnson. I forgot his name.
Yeah, blocks the shot.
Yeah, blocks the shot.
One of the shots.
He goes down, and we don't see him come back up. Like, leave that for later. Like, another episode, he comes back. He's like, oh, you thought I died? No, I just sat at the bottom for a while repairing the ship. Second shot takes out the shitty ship. It goes down. Explosion. Everyone dies. Like, go as dark as you need to. Really imply that there are consequences to the Windermerians being successful. Because so far, it's just been mind control. Oh no, my dad's mind control. Now he's just doing loops, walking around. Like, nothing really comes of the Windermerians winning. Or you losing, for that matter. Just people go a little bit crazy and they hurt other people. Like, we don't even do that anymore. That was the original threat, is you go fucking berserker mode when you're in Var rage. But we don't even do that. Now you just, like, stand at attention, watching people buy stuff in a marketplace. Like, what's the real lose consequence?
Well, we know that Noons are playing their own game as well, being bastards as always.
Well, they're not always bastards. They started becoming bastards like in Macross 7. Well, I don't know, technically you could say they didn't exist in Macross Plus, but you could say that that's where that started.
They actually existed in the Macross Plus.
No, they weren't the new United Nations. They were still UN Spacey, I want to say.
UN Spacey, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't exist back then. They were a different organization. But again, if you look at Samu's deployment record, he's putting down revolts all over the place, which is us versus us. So, assumedly in the background, they've always been kind of horrible. I would like it if the new show was that Sharon Apple never actually got destroyed. And in fact, the reason the nuns or UN Spacey have been horrible this whole time is that she's been in control, doing the mind control thing from the top. We got to take out the nuns. We got to take out the nuns, or we got to take out Sharon Apple, but which involves taking out the nuns. For the first time in a long time, it's time to go back to Earth.
Anyway.
My enjoyment of going back to previous characters.
Yeah.
In fact, Alto shows back up. We find Alto. Have the first 12 episodes coming back to characters we thought we lost. Old Man Hikaru. No, actually, he'll show up last. He's the last one to show up. Because it's got to be all the reverse order, right? Hayate, whatever the fuck ends of this show, we start with him and Freya. And then Alto, who's been missing this whole time. They find Alto. They're the ones that find Alto. And then, I don't know, Ranka and Cheryl show up somehow. Eventually, we go to a bar at something, and it's old man Hikaru. I hear you kids need some help, something. And that's when we go back to Earth. Or maybe we were on Earth the whole time.
Yeah.
And in the background of shots, oh, you know who the model for Sharon Apple is going to be? That green-haired chick from Macross 7. If you remember the background, there was this other artist in the background of all the shots that we never actually got to see or anything about. You remember? Did you watch Doctor Who at some point, right?
Yeah.
Before the Master shows up the first time in the new Who series, there's all these background things advertising the new Prime Minister, and that's who he is. The Master is already back in time being the Prime Minister. That green-haired girl was Sharon Apple the whole time, with a new name.
Sharon Apple 2.0.
Yeah, and she's got a whole fleet of ghosts. Or whatever the new versions of ghosts are.
But anyway, I think this is it for this episode.
All right, so once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?